Welcome once again to the Dhyan Chand National Hockey Stadium in New Delhi and to the Hero FIH Olympic qualifiers. It's the final game on day 2 and before tomorrow's rest day, and it's a second chance to look at India, who took Singapore apart last night to the tune of 15 goals to 1. And it could and it should have been more. And just look at that Indian goal difference there, though, plus 14 from one game, but they find themselves currently sitting second in the pool. Now it's Italy's turn to feel the Indian heat and passion. Italy themselves shipped 9 goals to Canada and were the only team not to score on an opening day. With 18 world ranking places between these two, India plays 10, Italy a lowly 28th. It's hard to imagine anything other than another big Indian win. Italy will certainly need to show more resolve and a higher work rate than they offered yesterday if they are not to join Singapore as a big-time loser to the host nation here. Good crowd in for this one, as you might expect, all expecting to see more of the same from India tonight. And before the start of the game, we're going to have a presentation to both of the team lineups. To Mr. Pratap Sathpathy, the Vice President of Hockey India, and also Tony Vondazo, a member of the FIH Executive Board. So along they go. Mr. Sathpathy there. The umpires, all of the 2 umpires there is Roddy Weissmuller from the Netherlands. Visible 8 changes to the umpires lineup. Nigel Igu of New Zealand alongside Roddy Weissmuller. Almost at the end of the line. Well, the Indian flag's flying proudly. The Indian women have just come off the field after a convincing victory over Canada, and well might that flag fly proudly there. So we've got to the end of the line with the presentations, and now we pause again for the national anthems. To see that the young team mascots have also learned the words to their own national anthem and singing with gusto. Well, who needs the 3 tenors when hockey can give you 16 of them? The Italian team clearly enjoying the moment here and singing the anthem there with real passion. And the Indian line-up there for this one, sent out by Michael Nobbs, who must have been a very pleased man last night, the way his Indian team set about the challenge of seeing off Singapore and really setting a marker for other teams to try and follow. There's Nobbs. A handshake there from Pratap Sapati. And no doubt a word of congratulations on last night and good wishes for today. And Roberto De Gai's team, Federici in goal, captained by Jacopo Lunetta. Didn't see much of them in possession of the ball in their opening game against Canada, and Roberto De Gai will be looking for a lot more, a more positive response from his team today. They looked marginally disinterested yesterday. Got a huge Indian flag being waved there by a rather flimsy looking stick. It's Nigel Igu there from New Zealand. And Roddy Weissmuller there near to the camera. These two umpires, not the two originally named. I don't know whether the illness that's been around the officials group has affected the two match umpires for this one, but Igo and Igo and Weissmuller replacing Wright and Blash. So India stripping off their very smart team tracksuit tops and showing themselves to be playing in largely white kit tonight. Change of a keeper for India for this one. Put in Srijek, and that means that the captain's armband, normally worn by Bharat Chetri, will be passed on. So away we go. Italy in the blue tops against India, and Italy's first job, as ever, playing hockey here in India, was to keep the crowd quiet. That's some task. Well, sitting alongside me in the commentary box, once again, I've got Simon Mason. Simon, is there any way that Italy can upset the Indian apple cart here, do you think?
My honest and immediate response is no. If India start the way they started last night and play with the same passion and intensity, I'm not sure that the Italians, from what we've seen so far, have got the wherewithal to have a structure that's going to stop India attacking the spaces and the individual skills, eliminating and creating the opportunities like they did last night.
Well, Michael Nobbs has certainly got this Indian team firing on all cylinders. And here they are, immediately onto the attack. Good pace about the attack as well. Really good understanding and movement being shown by them as a squad, playing with a smile on their face again, and in a style that they understand. Michael Nobbs was quoted at a recent press conference saying that he doesn't want to see the team going backwards at any point, he wants to see them pressing on. That philosophy is something which suits the Indian psyche very much indeed. Now this is Sandeep. On again to Manpreet. Italy penalised, free hit for India. Sandeep again. Trying to measure that ball into the circle. Getting it rather ill-fitting at the end of the day.
I think he somehow managed to double touch that. Certainly was looking in deep into the centre of the circle and managed to catch it twice, so fired it hard off the end of the pitch.
It's a good aerial, but it's come down two players in contention there, so Nigel Igo getting the whistle in early there. There's the splendid Sardar Singh getting the ball out on that right-hand side. A lovely pass from Sardar. Back into the centre it goes, scrambling for the goal. We've got our first penalty corner. And very, very close, Simon, to the first goal there.
It was, yeah, great attacking play from India and replicating what they did late last night, which was pass it wide out to the flanks on the 25, attack round the back, use their pace to attack the baseline. It was fired across the D. Goalkeeper managing to get a touch on it, but the initial pace was outstanding. Lucky touch from the defender here, but the goalkeeper forced to obstruct as he somehow sort of got on top of the ball. Lucky not to let it underneath him there on that replay.
Very lucky he didn't end up in the back of the net with the ball. So all eyes on Sandeep here, but last night they came up with some other routines as well. Out it comes. There's the shot, that'll do nicely. Sandeep Singh opens India's account. And you start to fear already for the Italians. Crowd are on their feet making the noise. Lovely routine, Simon.
Yeah, it was such a simple routine. Straightforward injection, stop. Sandeep firing it low to the goalkeeper's right. Oh, unstoppable. It's something that you might expect an international goalkeeper to get somewhere near it, but it's difficult to see what the disguise was on that. But such pace. I mean, that slid down the sideboard, probably 70, 80 kilometres an hour. Very, very hard for a relatively unexperienced goalkeeper to pick.
Well, the pace on it was shown by the rebound off the ball. Took the ball almost back to the top of the circle before the Fabian goal. I think I'd have moved even for the rebound. Terrific shot. And Sandeep showing his raw power there, which India, of course, have been working on. They now have some really good options out the set piece. India's ball from the sideline. Sandeep again, using that power this time to play the ball into the circle and deflection just over the top.
And Sandeep sometimes criticised for dwelling on the ball, but that was great. So seeing a replay there of the flick to the bottom corner, and you're right, the rebound coming back out straight to the top of the D. Finger aloft, that's it. One flick, one goal so far this game. And then following that, the play that we saw was his individual skill to eliminate in midfield and fire a ball deep into the Italian circle.
Italy don't want to give the ball away there. Problems again for them here. Look close up there of the power and the technique of the man. Sandeep, one finger aloft. He'd like to think himself as number one in the world. He's not far off it, I can tell you. One or two around the world would challenge him on that just at the moment.
Yeah, I think they'd only challenge him on consistency, that's all. He's definitely got the raw power, ability to score goals in any corner he wants, but it's just if you give him 10, how many he would execute really precisely.
And under pressure in major world medal winning games, that's the way he's going to really be tested. Can he deliver? The team are not winning many. Pressure is really on.
A little bit of individual skill there from Nunes in the first instance, just flip the ball up and create an opportunity for an overload.
Well, Nunes was the one Italian on the first day that did look as if he meant business. There with his little black book. I wonder whether he was given that by Rick Charter with a few notes about how to manage and coach an Indian hockey team. Rather doubted. It might have been a thicker volume if it had been Rick's. From India again. Oh, and please the coach, a backward pass. Had the effect of keeping possession though with the Indians. Trying to find a way around the outside there.
Occasionally you do have to go backwards because it will allow you to go laterally, and Manpreet with the last cross-field pass that he gave. Fantastic pace on the ball, eliminating 2 or 3 Italian defenders.
Strike out of defence, but Italy really on the ropes again here. Turkey plays the ball out to the left-hand side, and once again India showing they're keen to take on that Italian defence. Manpreet running with pace. And the ball is It's fired in, it's taken the deflection off the defender's stick. A long corner over on that far side.
Everybody Weissmuller correctly assessing that. It went up in the air and across the circle, but wasn't dangerous to anybody, so he switches out to that Indian right flank with the long corner.
Turkey, lovely ball. Poor marking there by the Italians. Moves it forward again. Round the back they go into the circle. There's the pullback. And almost presented there for Chandy, who got himself a hat-trick yesterday. Be looking for another one, no doubt, tonight. Still all India. He's there on that one for Manpreet.
Yeah, the Italians struggling to get more than 20-30 metres away from their goal at this moment in time without turning possession over. Playing now down their right flank. Very, very difficult. But there's a bit of a shove in the back from the Indian midfielder there. Manpreet again. Physical in the challenge.
There's all action and all go at the moment. You're seeing plenty of the ball. Italy playing deep here to absorb a huge amount of pressure. It's the one goal so far to show for all India's endeavours. Sardar. You can see the intention there. Not quite carrying it off. Captain for the day, taking the armband is Sardar. Bharat Chetri, number one goalkeeper, is usually the team captain. What do you think about goalkeeper captain, Simon?
I think it can work, but only if you've got any number of lieutenants further up the field. But just pausing as the Indians fire that deep into the heart of the Italian circle. Yeah, it can work, but in any international team, I think the captain's armband is just almost simply the identification of someone that the umpires can talk to. I think you need to have a leader in every line if you're going to have a successful team, and fairly well documented by a lot of top coaches that they would consider their team to be full of captains.
I think the previously mentioned Rick Charlesworth, who was a great advocate of that. But here come India again. Good pace about the attack. Movements there as well. Goalkeeper's down, the ball's free, and the whistle's gone. And it's gone in favour of the Italian defence.
And a very, very good bit of goalkeeping, actually. There was such pace on that attack and a one-on-one deep in the circle. Goalkeeper Federici has managed to go down very well to his left-hand side. We see the ball played into the circle here. Lovely, quick hands. He's managed to get across that and block the ball. The Indian forwards tried to sneak it underneath him.
Great pictures there for us to enjoy. India again coming strongly, and that'll be a penalty corner, says Roddy Weissmuller. You can hear that the crowd are not displeased with that decision.
Unlike the Italians, who certainly appear to be displeased, appealing about something, but I'm not sure what it is. I mean, it looked from here or a long way away, it looked like it hit a foot. Weissmuller suggesting that it was third man obstruction, the signal, so the player not able to get to the ball. That was the appeal. From the angle that he was at, you can certainly understand that decision.
Sandeep not on the field at the moment, so India will need to use one of their routines here. Raghunath wears the number 12 shirt. He's a really good striker of the ball. Pinder standing just alongside him as well. Could be out of those. It's Raghunath's shot. Thank you very much. Pick it out. Anything that Sandeep can do, I can do as well, he says.
Yes, and whereas last night the conversion ratio wasn't very high, that's 2 from 2 so far, and the goalkeeper's gone the wrong way on this one, suggesting that Raghunath had some good disguise. He's pulled it in, then opened his wrist. There it is. Opens his wrist at the last moment. Goalkeeper's gone to the right. Postman, no chance getting out of the way of that at the first opportunity.
That may prove to be the best decision he's made for some time, I think, as well. That was really arrowing into the net at about throat height.
And you can see on the replay the pace that was generated. You can see the initial drag flick created the pace. Ball just rolled off a stick, and Raghunath did really well to get the second touch that took it to the goalkeeper's left.
So 2 corner goals for India. 2 different routines. Last evening, India's 15 goals included 14 field goals. Must be some sort of record, and certainly in terms of percentage of goals scored.
What was also impressive was the number of times they got into the circle, and the number of shots they created. I think they created something like 50 circle entries and 40 shots or something during the course of that game, and that's an amazing conversion ratio.
It certainly is, and they seem to be in the same vein again tonight as well. So this fusion of Asian and Australasian hockey seems to be working rather well here.
As you see on the replay, that second touch that just whips the ball out from underneath Racket's feet. Cracking pace. Really impressive.
Well, we know that India have been working with one of their great corner strikers whose career was tragically short, Yuvraj. Yuvraj was involved in a road accident when nowhere near reaching the height of his powers. Yuvraj. But now he has to content himself with helping others learn a skill that he seemed to find so natural, and what we're seeing so far has been pretty successful.
And with the depth of talent they've got within Indian hockey as a whole, it's great to see a few of their old internationals or ex-internationals involved with their play and their development. There's such a history and tradition here that the top players still want to be involved even after they're no longer actually participating on the field.
It's nice to see so many of their Olympians here supporting this event and supporting the new breed of Indian players as they try and restore some of those former glories. Sunday plays the ball across here for Turkey. A rare Italian sortie here, and some defensive work to be done by India, and that's a penalty corner. Deliberately playing it over the baseline, I suspect, there, Sandeep.
Absolutely, that's exactly what Nigel Liger's given it for. Felt that Sandeep just swept it off the pitch behind the Italian forward as he came back, and the first tackle was a little bit messy anyway. And it was the second phase of this movement. The ball's bounced free, and it was felt that there Sandeep's just knocked the ball away off the baseline. The reaction of the Italian forward suggests exactly the same.
With a helping arm as well in there, for good measure, but good decision on any number of counts there from the Kiwi umpire. So Italy preparing for a goal here. You've got 2 from 2. Can Italy match them here? They might well, you know, they have done. Italy have got their goal and immediately half the Indian advantage here.
Yeah, and it wasn't the best routine ever. The stop, the trap was good. The move to the slip flick was fine. The slip flick itself was fairly poor. We see here, the trap is absolutely fine. Slip flicker looking to fire it for a tip-in, does not get hold of it at all. Very clever from the Italian number 17 to sweep that ball back away from the goalkeeper, allowing it to be fired into pretty much an empty net.
Nani with
not a lot of chance.
Nani with a shot, and he's going to enjoy that. And that story will do the rounds a few times, no doubt. Alessandro Nani.
What will be interesting now is to see the Indian reaction. I mean, they had it all their own way last night, and there was no need at any point for them really to worry about their momentum. and they respond immediately here. They scored goals in pairs last night, so looking for an immediate reaction to the Italian goal.
Sandeep, he conceded that penalty corner that led to the Italian goal. Hit out for Italy here, and the man in the middle there is the said Jugraj Singh. Filled out a bit since his playing days, and now the India's penalty corner coach. He was always a powerful unit, mind you. What a tragedy it was, not just for India but for the world of hockey, that his career was cut so short. He had a rare talent. How nice that he is still involved with this elite level. He would have been probably at his height, Simon, about now, had he still been playing.
He would have been. I think his vision, his awareness, his passing options and overall skill set would have improved away from just his penalty corner ferocity. So yeah, it's disappointing for Indian hockey that he can't be on the field anymore, but great that he's involved developing a new breed of player.
India trying to get their game plan back on course here, having conceded that goal, or rather shot goal to the Italians, almost their first attack. Hammered in and deflected over the bar.
Reaching Italian goals, just he had it covered. Looking there as if he was trying to head it, as if it was heading underneath the crossbar, but a long way over, so not called into action.
Italy have played in just 2 Olympic Games. As host nation in 1960, when the Olympics were in Rome. They finished 13th out of 16, and then in 1952 they were also involved when the games were in Helsinki, and they finished unclassified, as things were in those days. Saranvijit just vying for that particular bit of carpet in the circle.
I think a strong blow from Nigel Igo as well. I think he can see what's going on off the ball there, and just keeping a watchful eye on the contest that's going on within the circle. Slightly out of shot.
Well, it's good to report that it is so competitive. This might be rather one-sided, but Italy prepared to put up a fight here. Nothing if not a proud team. An opportunity here for India, and they'll take the corner here. Poor challenge there from Melato. Once again, Roddy Weismuller awards India a penalty corner. So once again, India have to put their 100% corner record on the line.
Yeah, very, very clever here. Setting up for a shot. Great skill to take the ball left, right, and then pull it back, set himself for a shot, and then there was the contact from behind. Created the penalty corner in the first place.
Lovely play by Turkey. Normally a defender, so loves to get up the field if he can. Sandeep is there this time. Sandeep who takes it on. How about that? How about that? There's a little contest going on here within the team. Who can outdo the other, and that's all to India's advantage. That was stunning.
It was indeed, and great power, great pace. Good precision, not great, not right in the corner, but just the levers. Look at the power of that underneath the crossbar. Goalkeeper, not a lot of hope of that. Continues this 100% record on corners during the course of this game, but you can see how fast that was going. The goalkeeper's still on his way up as that's making the back of the net bulge.
Italy resigned there. Nothing anyone can do to keep that one out. Stunning routine. You wonder whether Michael Nobbs has had this Indian team out on the training ground this morning trying to tighten up on those penalty corners. They've got another one now, and that can only spell trouble for Italy.
But if you think about how many of the goals last night were field goals, 14 out of 15, I mean, you've started on a different plan tonight. They're certainly winning the corners deep in the circle, touching that. I think I was actually trying to touch it between the feet of the Italian defender, and it just happened to catch a back foot. But yes, India now, the goalkeeper was standing there thinking, right, what do I do? Do I pick a side? Do I change my running patterns? Do I put two postmen? Unfortunately, asking many questions.
Raghunath alongside Sandeep again. It's gone to Sandeep. He's gone the other way this time. The result's the same. And they're coming in 2-by-2 again.
That's right, changing sides, making the goalkeeper uncertain, not able to read anything off the flicks. And it's the disguise. It's pulled from so far back in his stance. It's not great into the corners, but it's just going in so quickly. The distance between that release and the goalkeeper probably only sort of 12 metres, making it very, very hard to read it and react with any semblance of chance of saving it.
And that's a 25-minute hat-trick for Sandeep Singh. And, well, there could be plenty more to come from that stick yet, if India continue to win the penalty corners. So we're still waiting for our first open play goal here.
In terms of the numbers of opportunities for India, certainly not as many as they had yesterday evening against Singapore, in which in the first 10-15 minutes they could easily have scored 15 goals, the number of chances they fashioned. But here it's been slightly less frequent opportunities, but the outcome actually probably better.
Not a night for goalkeepers, Simon. 5 penalty corners in the game, and they've all resulted in a goal. I have to say, no blame really to be attached to the custodians.
Not at all. Sometimes when playing under floodlights, it makes it quite difficult for penalty corners because the light's not quite good enough to allow you to see anything. But out here, there are no reasons.
This could be an open play goal here. Good attacking goalkeeping there coming from the Italian. Fabrizio Federici coming out and snuffing out the danger here. He doesn't want to result in being an Aunt Sally. Sardar's skill and determination.
Sardar did very well to ride that first challenge. With assertive goalkeeping, Federici had to be quick off his line to close that down.
Sardar in the Indian midfield, certainly a world-class performer. He's been selected in the international 11 recently, and you can see why. Take again. Shot comes on the reverse stick side. The goalkeeper, I thought had been wrong-footed again, but he got his right foot to it this time.
I don't think the shot actually was connected with particularly well. I agree with you, Nick. I think if there had been any pace on it, the goalkeeper had indeed been wrong-footed. Looked like he was wanted to lean away to his left-hand side, but fortunately there wasn't enough pace on the ball to mean that he got unstuck.
Nunes trying to make something of it there, but he wins just a free hit.
Well, now we have an Indian counter from deep in their own circle, and they've got numbers.
This is Sardar in full flight here. 4 Italians around him. If they can spread the ball to the right-hand side, there's hardly anyone back at home for Italy here. Just a free hit.
Yeah, one moment there, I was really thinking that the Indians were attacking with 6 and 7 against 4 and 5, and they had a real opportunity, but they managed to get some scramble defence back.
Conceded 9 in their opening game against Canada. They'll do well to keep this to 9 the way things are going at the moment. Again, it's fired in, and the crowd go up for the goal, but no appeal at all there from the Indian players. There was no connection. It's the last corner. There's number 2. And that makes 3. Thank you very much. He was trying to keep the move going there for Italy with a special bit of skill, but didn't come off for him.
It was good early awareness of what was going on inside him on the pitch for the first time pass. Didn't quite get there. Just allowed Sandeep to pick it and come forward really well to eliminate and then make a good pass. But Italy again, Linda's not quite able to receive that. Trying to turn under pressure.
Sandeep with a self-pass, gets the ball instantly back into the midfield. Sardar sets off again, goes past one player, goes past the second. Can't turn, collides them with the third, and we've got an Italian writhing on the floor here. And we can see how the umpire saw that one. Magyar is down. Weissmuller coming across, and who's he going to call here? He's going to have a word with Sardar. Hasn't reached into his pocket just yet, and he's not going to.
Great immediate. The first elimination here is fantastic. Just touches it away and accelerates, bursts into space, and now it's really difficult for the Italians because they're chasing. That's just Sal's pace taking him past Italian player Murcia.
That looks like a dead leg to me.
Yeah, absolutely there. There's nothing that could have been done. It's just been caught as he's been running through.
We've got 2 balls on the pitch. Over 6 minutes left then in the first half here. As that Indian move breaks down with Saranjit getting his feet in the way. Plenty of advice coming from the team bench about how they're going to improve on this scoreline at the moment. India 4-1. All being penalty corner goals.
Sorry, I don't think Italy are doing particularly badly at this moment in time. Their shape's not bad. There is some eliminations from India, but any team in the world are going to struggle to cope with the individual skills that are on show out there. But in general, Italy are doing quite well. They're restricting their field goal chances. I mean, okay, the penalty corners are ferocious and effective, but what else going on at the moment?
I just saw that the Indians have had something like 69% of the possession time, and that tells its own story there. Italians having to absorb an awful lot of pressure here. There's our first field goal, and how the crowd enjoyed that one.
Oh, and it was a fantastic pass across the circle, but the first touch was brilliant. Very, very good there from Sunil, who picked it deep in the circle and then squeezed the ball into the turf as Federici approached him. Class finish.
This is where you measure the quality of a player. There's the touch. One extra touch to set himself and then fire it home. Thank you very much. That will do nicely. So that's broken the run of penalty corner goals. And much as the crowd enjoys seeing them flying into the net, it's the open play, the field goals, that really they get excited about. We all do.
That's brilliant centre-forward play at that moment in time from Sunil. He just held and held and held, and it's not about making long, fast runs. It's the short, sharp movements in the circles that just create yourself a metre of space, and that's all he needed to receive that ball. Move for a metre off the back of his defender. Great accurate pass into the D. One touch, bang.
A chance here. How about that?
And that's the same.
Move, pick, goal. Unbelievable. Great striking, and India going through their showpiece moves now and delighting their crowd, who are being royally entertained.
It's Chandy who picked one touch, turn, smash. What a finish. Sliding down the sideboard, goalkeeper with no chance, but it's just how sweet that first touch is at the head of the circle. To not only stop it, but change his body position to allow him to execute the shot. So well done.
Well, we were impressed by Chandy last night, and real quality again exuding of his game.
If Italy weren't dangerous already, this is now when they become... India weren't dangerous, this is now when they become even more so. With momentum, the crowd are buoyed coming in towards the half. cadence, the leg speed starts to go up and the space is open. Italy defending so deep.
A lovely spin. Italy really need to stand up here and be brave, otherwise they could be buried without a trace. Similar fate to that of Singapore lies in wait for them here. Less than 3 minutes remaining in the first half here. India 6, Italy 1. The giant scoreboard at either end of this splendid stadium, showing bright here against the evening skies.
As the last goal, as we see, it was the first touch that did everything for Chandy as he picked off his right foot, knocked it across his body. No way the Italian defender could get anywhere near the ball in that space, allowing him time to swing and finish fantastically well.
Here they come again into the circle and reverse stick shot. Wide this time.
Goalkeeper Federici looking like he's a little bit back on his heels.
A little bit
at the moment.
He was firmly in reverse gear there. I think he was expecting that one to go whistling past him again. Seemed there. It's not one to try at home, that.
No, not at all. And he just needs to be brave at this moment in time. Not the most experienced goalkeeper at the tournament, obviously, but needs to step forward and attack every shot.
Well, Italy have left their number 2 goalkeeper, David Guida, up in the stand. Might be feeling quite pleased about that right now. And Federici got in the way of so much yesterday and took all sorts of blows to his body. He's being bypassed almost at ease at the moment by this strong-looking Indian team.
Knobs down there on the bench now on our screens a little moment ago, looking a little more perturbed than he did last night. Concerned that maybe things aren't going quite to plan, despite the number of goals and the result as it stands. Still probably demanding more from his players.
Olympic rings on the forearm there of Sandeep. I wonder whether they're just for adornment or whether they tell us a little bit more about his life's ambition. India missed out, of course, in Beijing. They're in danger of missing out again unless they can win this tournament here. That's why this tournament has so much importance to them. They have every chance. They're the highest ranked team here. They have home advantage, but the pressure will turn on them should they make it through to the final. They've got some tough games to go yet. So we've reached half-time in this game, the final game on day 2 here, and India firmly in control of the situation, the scoreboard. Half-time here in the Dhyan Chand. It's India 6, Italy 1. So the first 4 goals for India, all coming from penalty corners. We had a hat-trick from Sandeep, mixed in with one from Raghunath as well. And then Sunil and Chandy adding a couple of splendidly taken field goals for good measure. Italy 2 with Nani getting what looks like being a consolation goal for them. So plenty for the Indian crowd to enjoy and to be talking about during half-time, and the prospect of more goals to come. Confirmation another half-time scoreline: India 6, Italy 1. So India riding the wave here. Sandeep's 3 corners coming in rapid fire succession. Raghunath in there as well. Sunil and Chandy with field goals. We're going to bring you the highlights and all the goals from that first half. Sit back and enjoy the ride. Good pace about the Indian attacks these days. Goalkeeper getting himself in a bit of a muddle. This was the first corner. Enter Sandeep, going all along the carpet this time and finding room in the bottom corner for his shot. And that was 1-0. Very nearly 2-0 there, but this time keeper getting in the way. Penalty corner was a beautiful one. That was Raghunath. His moment in the spotlight wasn't wasted. Italy had the effrontery to come back and win a penalty corner of their own when Sandeep played the ball deliberately over his baseline, and just look how it finished here. Nani getting the better of the goalkeeper and the covering defender to bring Italy back into contention. That made it 2-1. That really upset the Indians though. Sandeep flicking high. That was the hat-trick goal for him. And then we got the field goals coming in, beautifully chipped or squeezed over the top there by Sunil. And then the last goal in that first half coming from the stick of Chandy, who made space for himself with a beautifully executed first trap. So 12 shots for India have resulted in 6 goals, but just look at that possession stat there. 70% of possession for India. 4 corners, 4 goals. Italy just the 1 corner, but they too can boast a 100% record. Just haven't had the volume that would have made a real difference. A wonderful picture of this glorious stadium with the floodlights beaming down there. Really are excellent floodlights. And the players emerging back onto the pitch. Michael Nobbs still making a few last points down there. But he must be a happy man with the way things are going so far. But he's a cagey old fox, and he'll know that things can go very badly wrong very quickly in this game of ours. He'll be hoping against hope that it doesn't go wrong for them in this particular tournament. There is no room for a bad day. Only the winner, remember, qualifies for London 2012. That's a lot of pressure. Federici there, the Italian goalkeeper, has made a couple of smart saves, but was looking a little bit shell-shocked towards the end. Simon I spotted him not just on his heels, but in full retreat at one point, as India looked about to wind up another one of their shell shocks. And it could be a pretty tough second half and 35 minutes for the team from Italy. Which India will come out in the second half? Will they go for more goals and try and bury this Italian team? Will they try and conserve some energy for the challenges that still lie ahead? I know what they'll be hoping for. They'll be hoping for more of that first half action and plenty more field goals, and perhaps a few from Sandeep at the penalty corners as well. Simon, where's your money in terms of how India will approach the second half?
I can't believe that they'll do anything else than try and finish this professionally and aggressively and assertively. They did it yesterday against Singapore. They showed them no mercy. That was 7 at half-time and finished at 6:15. And I just think they'll want to put in place good habits. And that's what tournament play is about. It's just about getting better and better and eradicating the mistakes. And Coach Michael Nobbs will not be willing to allow his team to sit back, because that will do them no good as they try and progress through this tournament.
Well, India straight onto the front foot here. The Italians in fully defensive mode. Maybe plenty of that. They're stalled out. It's hard to break down in the second half. India have the pace, they have the craft, and they have the power. Sandeep whips the ball cross field.
Sandy's chosen to try and deliver that long, but Salah in midfield had made some fantastic movement, pushing his right-hand side flank players long up the field to create some space. India's full press now is amazing.
Well, we picked up on this yesterday. They really are putting everything into this one. And they're happy to play high.
I appreciate they'll probably feel they're in a bit of ascendancy, but I think they had a 6-man forward press at that point, and there were 3 Italians high up the pitch, but they were happy to play full-out attack.
Just about. Having to pay all their attention at the moment on deep defence. Lovely take and turn once again. Big wind up, but no great connection there. India will come straight back at Italy. Around the edge of the circle, and that's just a long corner.
Pace from Chan, it's the change of pace. He's to be able to go from 70 to 80 to 100% in such a small stride length, 1 or 2 strides, and it gives him the opportunity to just literally burn off the defenders.
Some deep firing one in, and a little deflection in front of the goalkeeper there from Shivendra. I think it was. We'll need to have that confirmed with so much pace on the pass through.
Cameras there highlighting Chandy, but it was Chandy or Shivendra, they're both on the same line. Sandeep's pass in, great disguise to whip it across. There is a touch just there.
Oh, that's the
that
one.
is Chandy, and that's brilliant off his back foot.
Really good.
This angle show it beautifully. Look at this touch there. That's fantastic vision and movement.
Well, no wonder he celebrates. There's Sunil. His 4th goal in the tournament. Really good touch there. His 2nd goal in the game. Almost a little leg glance, wasn't it, really? Italian coach with his arms crossed there. And I don't know whether he's got it in him to stop this flow of goals. He's just got to suffer. And he's going to be suffering plenty in the next half an hour or so. Here come India again. Once again, trying to double up with those goals. Shivendra can't dig that one out, and it's cleared by Italy, but only as far as the touchline.
The Italian coach there was stood with his arms folded quietly on the sideline. The goalkeeper was gloves off, was gesticulating at his players all over the place, trying to get them into the right places and try and stop some of this flow of India.
They are very different characters, aren't they, those two? Italy throwing the ball high, but not high enough. They'll be penalised.
Aiming from that Italian named William Cottam up front for Italy.
Taking on the defence, looked plaintively towards the umpire there, but Nigel not buying into to that one. Turkey, very experienced. Loose pass. There haven't been too many of those from India. They've been very disciplined in their use of the ball.
That's fantastic skill. Really well done for Salas to drive forward. It's inside under his own feet to change direction 180 degrees and start to bring together an attack towards the Indian goal.
There's been much more about Italy in this game. They showed us very little against Canada, but much more determined this evening. Goodness knows what the score had been if they'd adopted any other approach.
Very close, Zalatel there in the replay, coming in at that far post after Salah's played the ball across the top of the circle. Wasn't far away from one of the only opportunities we've seen for Italy in this game.
Lateral plays the ball on, hammered into the circle there by Sunil again.
Shivendra, who somehow got a touch on that after Sunil hammered it across, wasn't far away from the far post to Federici. It's just the power, he's drilled this. Little bit of lift makes it so difficult, but just the faintest of touches. Really good hand-eye coordination. And that's very lucky for Italy to get away with it. I'm not sure that you want to be passing it to your centre-half on your own dotted 5-yard mark with 4 Indians in attendance.
I don't think the receiver would argue with a word of that, Simon. It was danger written all over it. He got away with that, just coming off the Indian foot. Italy just keen to slow things down when they can in defence. Now they're in attack, just injecting a little more pace again. Trying to work our way through what looks like a well-organised Indian defence, though.
It is well organised, and given that they're playing with only 3 at the back, they're playing man-to-man at the back, and what you find defensively with a lot of international sides is they'll play 3 marking defenders and a sweeper, someone to sort of clear things up if there's any problems, and India have come away from that, and they are very firmly playing a 3-man one-on-one defence, which allows them to step the extra player into midfield and then similarly up into the front line, which means this press can be really high and really aggressive.
You expect to change that against the more competitive teams?
I would expect they'll have to, because the more competitive teams are probably going to have slightly more opportunities and you won't want to risk too many, but at times it can be a very, very effective tactic. The Germans used to do it, and they used to push a fullback all the way up and through to play a 4-man front line so they could press at 60 and 70 metres. If you've got a bit of ascendancy and want to change the tactic and the intensity, it's a really good thing to do.
Sardar going through his party tricks, but unfortunately part of his repertoire involved in kicking the ball as well.
That's a great pick on the replay. Look at Salah take that away one-handed. Salas can do nothing about it.
Let's wait to measure the effectiveness of Sardar when he comes across some of the world's top teams. But on the showing here, he looks truly world class. Italy have a free hit. Good pace. Oh, a little bit of a helping post. I think we could be losing a member of the Italian forces here. Did you spot the colour, Simon? Was it just green?
Green, just a green one. Yeah. Right, green triangular card held out there by Weissmuller. Was a bit of contact. I think it was quite fair. It's interesting, the players know when they've done something wrong. There's an immediate moment there as Ducey looked towards the umpire, but he was already making a move towards the bench. When he was looking over his shoulder for was the colour and therefore the time.
Oh, very nearly another one there, shelled into the circle, and it's a question of who it came off there. Last touch there from Yuvraj.
I go outside the far post. Nigel, lucky the umpire was getting out of the way of that as fast as he possibly could.
He had no idea what had come off. He was taking evasive action. Good decision, Nigel, not the first of the game. Lunetta over this one, in no great rush to move it on again.
Yeah, having to go forwards, being forced forwards. And that's a lovely pick-up from Corsi.
All round the back as well. Just a long corner. No, it's a free hit to India. They're taking it very quickly.
Now that's just showing off a one-handed reverse stick pass into midfield. Very well done.
Yes, we're into showboating time again here in the Dhyan Chand. The great legend of Indian hockey who gave his name to this stadium would be enjoying this, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure he is enjoying it, looking down.
There we go with that one-handed reverse stick pass. Unfortunately, there was an Italian touch on that. Replay just overplaying the Indian attack into the circle, which came to nothing, but another flash past the post.
Italy starters going again. Goals just drying up a little bit for India. The crowd starting to get a little bit restless.
Seen as carrying it out over the sideline after a great stop and spin in midfield to retain possession, but just couldn't get his footwork right. Knobs there on the bench, looking to try and change things around a little bit. Instructions coming out to his team.
Good strike. Lovely clean strike of the ball there. Pitch perfect. That wasn't. Good opportunity wasted there for Italy. There's plenty of space down the right-hand side. If the pass had been accurate.
And that's another great ball into the circle, right out on the left-hand flank, driven in at Brenda. But it was the first initial hit there from Tushar. Across the circle, what a touch. Goalkeeper would have had no chance if it had been inside the post.
Moving the ball from right to left again. Good tackle. Well, the Italian defence is certainly getting a good workout tonight. Not so much so the forward line, but the defence growing in stature, picking off one or two of these Indian attacks.
I've been impressed there with Nunes down that right-hand side, who's leading away in the attack, but a moment ago was right back in his own defensive line, making tackles and trying to dribble away. Italians still doing a huge amount of legwork. It feels that the Indians might be looking for a bit more from Sardar at this moment in time. He's gone a bit quiet. It's not quite the legwork and the intensity we've seen from the Indians so far in this first game and a half.
The Italians looking for a second consolation, or a goal in this half would be good for them.
One only has to look at the Canadian result against Italy of 9-0, so that +9 goal difference, and the Indians must surely be setting themselves that mental target, if nothing else, because if any of this tournament comes down to goals, they're going to need every single one.
Oh, this is good. Oh, well tackled back, just getting into position in time. Sunil again showing good form, but then just putting in the stick block.
Yes, it was a very obvious stick block in front of Nigel Igo. He's seen that a few times, and one feels occasionally, if it's that obvious, effectively that's a deliberate foul. But if you've seen that there, as Nigel Igo has his right on top of it, one would question whether, like in football, if a player dives, then is there some sort of penalty about that?
Just drawing the defender, and very often with less experienced umpires, they hear the sound and they go for the penalty corner when the poor defender's done nothing wrong at all, just being conned, really. When you're just looking for a little more urgency, they might get it here. Here goes the excellent Sunil again, going cross field, ball played in. Italy trying to manage the situation. India asking the question about a penalty corner as the ball came up in the air off Linetta's stick, but nothing doing.
Sunil has been excellent, hasn't he? It's been his incisive running and his changes of pace that have really caused problems in the Italian defence. I think he's been very, very good so far today.
Yes, he looks as if this style of play is really suiting his game. Here he comes again. Plays the ball this time on for the Italian foot, and will gratefully accept the free hit he gets. Vindapal.
Let's see if he stays on long. Sees another drag flicker if the Indians win a corner.
Nearly another shooting opportunity. Rupinder looks for the foot and finds it.
He's a big man, Rupinder. He's got some long levers, good strength.
Sardar gets the pass away through Sandeep. Well, and there's the deflection and the follow-up shot.
Yeah, Shavindra there swinging at that bouncing ball in the circle. Good tip in as it goes in. Great delivery. First tip, ball bouncing up, and Shavindra here who just swings at it. Could have been a fantastic goal, but doesn't connect. Bottom edge of the stick, just past that near post.
Yeah, they're just pushing India back. Nothing on for him at all. Play the ball out over the sideline. No release pass on for the Italians. They're coming strongly again. Without the real spark that we saw from them in the first half. That can all change though, and very nearly did then.
Flashes past the post, and Federici will possibly claim that he had it covered as he dived away to his right. I'm not sure he was there before the ball was, but Shavindra has given it everything he's got. But yeah, I think if that had been inside the post, that probably would have gone in. Goalkeeper hasn't dived until the ball's gone past him.
That'll do. That will count. It's not the prettiest of goals, and the goalkeeper acknowledges he might have done a bit better there, but Shavindra, I was about to say it's not been his night, but it's suddenly all changed for him. Let's watch the goal again here.
Goalkeeper Federici just completely wrong-footed. Ball appears to be going one way with the first touch. He's gone across to cover it and then swung with his right foot at a ball that's going past his left boot. Unfortunately missed it completely. Yeah, might have done better, definitely on the report card.
Well, I was about to say something, we've all done it, but don't suppose you ever did.
Oh, believe me, I did.
I've made plenty of those. Never looks good. So sideline ball here for Italy, and India have got their 8th goal, and they've still got almost a quarter of the game remaining to add to that tally, so double figures very much on the cards here. Simon was saying Italy shipped 9 against Canada. They're still one shy of that tally. Sides really have those little markers in the back of their mind that Canada has scored 9, so let's go out and beat that, or whether we're looking to improve on the 15 of yesterday, or is that, well, should that not enter the consciousness?
I think most coaches would argue that they just sort of, you take a moment at a time, and if you play well, then the goals will take care of themselves. But certainly if you were at, let's say you were at 7-1 and you knew that one of your greatest rivals in the tournament, the Canadians, had got that +9 from the game against them, you'd have to set yourself that as your first sort of option once you've won the game comfortably, to then step forward and keep going to get the goals that mean that you have that slight advantage if it does come to a situation with equal points.
I say Canada didn't look quite so good today, going down 3 goals to 2 to the Poles in a morning game here. Late Polish goal. After Canada come from 2 goals behind to tie things up, had plenty of chances to win the game themselves, and were bitterly disappointed to be undone right at the end by a Polish penalty corner in overtime. Sickening defeat for the Canadians.
Makes the middle of the table quite interesting though, at this moment in time, with the French having obviously beaten the Poles on day 1 and then having played Singapore today, and obviously Singapore and Italy at the moment looking like they're going to get reasonably well beaten by most of the teams here, but it's that who else is going to make that final, assuming that India continue to play this way. And the pass is on the far side of the pitch. There it is.
There's the ball. It's a good one as well. And off the body. That's a mistake there by Sillon. Almost the first he's made this evening. Arguably, there was nobody anywhere near him, and perhaps it shouldn't have been blown. But let's watch it again.
Has come across. He has seen the pass out of our shot. Weissmuller's having a word with somebody, but there's the first touch. Back stick, I think.
Yes, I think
Igo would have suggested. Came from the out of shot incident a moment ago. There was no cards given or anything. Quiet word with a couple of the players, possibly a little bit of niggle in the middle of the pitch.
These two have really controlled the game very well indeed. It's been worthy of them as well. It's kept them both on their toes, both match officials, that is. Great disguise on that pass.
A brilliant
terrific
pass.
You're working well again here. Goalkeeper's out aggressively, did well.
There were some wild swings in that D, 4 or 5 of them. No contact made at any point by either defenders or attackers. And the goalkeeper did do very well to get any sort of a touch there.
Panic stations in the Italian defence. India still in possession of the ball. Now they've worked to clear. There's the shots. They hit something or somebody.
As Federici in the goal has managed to pick that off. Really good. India fashioning shooting opportunities by taking the ball into the back of their stance and squeezing the shot away. Makes it really difficult for the defenders to get any sort of contact.
India coming forward again, showing they do want more goals here.
Murgia deep in his own left-hand pocket. Into a replay. We see the ball coming in the circle down at baseline. Very, very scrappy, but great one-handed pass. Ball back of the stance. Sunil doesn't hit it. Keeper comes out. Federici touching with the bottom of his foot.
Here come India.
Anti-skill from Murgia trying to pass that. Everybody went for the dummy and he didn't actually play contact with the ball.
Italy in danger of being overrun again here as India turn on the power play again. Ball lifted and striking his own player there. It was Mujtaba, who's making his way into the circle.
When you're not committing quite as many players forward when they've got a structured attack, content to play with 4 or 5 as they go into the Italian 25. Sardar sitting a long way back and happy to watch his players run away from in front of him.
Big Indian foot there, and it's going to be a card. Green card for that deliberate kick there.
I think everybody in the stadium saw how deliberate that was. Just what looked from here to be a petulant flick of the toes away at the ball.
So India down to 10. Won't stop their attacking intent now. The aerial played just a little bit too close there to the Italian, so Italy will have a free hit.
I'm not sure it's Turkey on the bench for his green card for picking that ball away, but I'm not sure Coach Michael Knowles will be particularly impressed with that last attack. It's a little bit what we call festival hockey. It's just all a bit too show-offy to chuck an aerial from left wing to right wing across the middle of the pitch. Might want a little bit more structure to the attacks.
Lunetta sets Italy going again, changes the point of attack to that right-hand side. The ball comes off the defender's foot, but no real advantage gained by it. No whistle. A rather disappointing end product there. Minutes to go then in the second half here. India still 2 goals shy of double figures. Result has not been in doubt though for a long time. India playing well within themselves, trying to force anything artificially here. Sardar, spectacular pass and a good diving interception coming from the Italian defence. Denied though. Italian defenders running the ball out. Lunetta on a charge.
Doing very, very well, Lunetta, to pick that in the circle under pressure. Upright stick to a horribly bobbly ball. And quite interesting though that India just not creating as many opportunities against a slightly better defence than they played yesterday. Suggests that obviously as the opposition gets better there won't be as many chances, but the pace of their attack has changed. The intensity, the ferocity of the running. It's It's just not quite there at the moment. They could do with finding another gear in this last 10 minutes if they're really going to turn the screws on Italy.
They've allowed the crowd to go rather quiet. India are never better than when the crowd is behind them, cheering them to the rafters. Or the outdoor equivalent of rafters. Making some inroads down the left-hand side. Nice turn inside the defending Sandeep as well. Shooting opportunity here, well blocked by challenger the defender.
Salas has got it in the end, but it was Truxinas' skills who drove him into the circle. Two really good turns, and that's a great bit of skill. Fairly sure that was dribbling with the ball in mid-air.
Italy have certainly had their moments. They've been too few and too short, but they will look back on one or two moments with real pride tonight.
And that was one of them on that replay. That was 3 touches with the ball in mid-air, left, right, left. Fantastically well. Didn't actually achieve very much in the end, but lovely to see a player with those sort of skills.
And of course, Nani will long remember his goal. He'll love to tell his friends and relatives about the day he scored a goal in the famous Dhyan Chand Stadium against India. We might have to gloss over the final score in the game, however. The way that stories tend to change shape over the years with the telling.
Pretty sure the highlight will be the goal I scored rather than the game I played in. But no mean feat at any level to score a goal at international level against a team such as India, in India. Fantastic stadium.
Sada missed trapping that one, but he's won the ball back. Leads the short pass this time. That's our friend Agustin Núñez trying to take the attack to India again.
I think it's the movement off the ball that's really ceased at the moment. If you're looking, as we can from up here, in front of the player on the ball, there's very little lateral movement at any pace to allow passes to be made. Static players are easy to defend against, and being able to still keep their defensive lines reasonably secure. It's when players like Sada goes forward into midfield that it causes problems.
Italy coping with that attack. Luneta caught in possession. He's careless. And here come India again. Lovely stick skills. Goalkeeper comes sliding out, gets in the way. A real muddle in front of goal. And no surprise that that's seen as a penalty corner.
Yeah, and unfortunately very, very similar to the moment in the first half when goalkeeper Federici gave away a corner then. He's come out to the right position. He has actually made the right decision. Just the execution is poor. Doesn't manage to slide through the ball and get it clear. As you see a replay, beautiful skills from Chandy as he moves forward. But goalkeeper there, and if you look, it's gone behind him as he's slid on his knee. Can't do anything about it. Feet in the way. Obvious corner for Nigel Eager to give.
India still have that 100% corner record, and here they go again. 6 minutes left in play. India looking for a 9th goal, and it's taken a deflection off the defender. It's a long corner only, and the 100% record has gone.
Yeah, and Federici will be saying thank you very much to his #1 runner. A touch on it, I think, with a stick, possibly even knock the stick out of his hand, or certainly knock some protective equipment off somebody. There's a whole load of it in the middle of the circle.
A little bit overcomplicated there from Shivendra, who's perhaps not had his best night tonight. Let's look back on that last corner again. Sandeep didn't really get hold of it, and the runner was able to do his job.
Bottom edge of a trailing stick, but enough of a touch.
Sunil with a pace again, and that was a big collision, and Sunil Well, both players getting quickly up. That looked to be quite a closing speed there.
It was. I mean, that was both players at flat out, and Murgia somehow has managed to just jab the ball away before the collision. Does very well for a big man to get across.
Kanika there, just trying to get the ball back into the danger area in front of the Italian net, but he got his angles all wrong. Into the last 4.5 minutes then. Game's lost a little of its sparkle. They're trying to lift things again here. Brief moment from the crowd there who thought that India were about to launch another attack with menace.
And Italy were able to come forward in reasonably good numbers, but poor first touch and dwelling slightly too long allows India to come back at them.
Space in the midfield here, and a missed trap will allow the ball out of play. A more breathing space here for Italy. Murgia suggests that
India have a couple of good players as we're going forward as we reach the conclusion of this. You'll be wondering who man of the match is going to be.
Sada will be one of the candidates, I'm sure, for man of the match. He's sparkle at times, as is this man on the ball, Sandeep.
Yeah, and with his early hat-trick in that, 19 minutes I think it was, the first half, that corner hat-trick. Yeah, there's probably people talking about him.
Where would your vote go, Simon?
I think there's been too many for us to pick from up here. There's been a couple of forwards who've done very well. Chandler's done well, Sunil's done well, but as we've already said, Sardar's come forward well at times, and Sandeep scoring those corners. So there's 3 or 4 choices from the Indians that could be called.
Not too many Italian candidates, unless they're giving bravery medals away.
Yeah, absolutely. They have been tried very, very hard, and there's been some moments of brilliance. Nunez here on the ball has caused a couple of them, and that's great little pull back, and I think they call it a V-drag as they pull it back to change direction. Enough I wouldn't suspect for any of the Italians to be receiving the trophy at the end of the game.
Well, they haven't let their heads go down. That was always going to be key tonight. They can take some pride from that. We're just coming into the last 2 minutes now. Big wind-up, not a bad delivery at the end of the day. Sandeep was able to pick that one off. Here he is again. Getting the ball clear. In fact, they're making a bit of a nonsense of it.
Yeah, I'll try and play too much hockey. That's right. Just a bit lax in that bottom corner. I mean, okay, it doesn't mean anything at this point in time, but I think they keep trying to do things the right way.
Keeping it simple can often be the best tactic of all.
The interesting decision there was actually to give the ball to India, and at that moment, unfortunately, he was the only person who was expecting that decision. Occasionally, umpires will see things slightly differently to the players.
I don't think Italy had they got the energy to complain anymore. A couple of nibbles at the umpire early doors, but to use all their energies to contain this Indian team here. Sada spreads it wide on the left-hand side. And with plenty of players in the circle, is there a finale on the cards for them here? So again, Italians putting bodies on the line.
You certainly can't fault their effort to get these balls clear at times, can you? They've been throwing themselves in the path of play.
We hit through India. We're into the last 30 seconds now. And it goes. We're looking for another corner perhaps, or an open play goal indeed. A big clearance there, an important clearance from Murgia. Will push India back, and that ought to be pretty much the ball game here. 10 seconds left on the clock. Michael Nobbs stands underneath that weather-beaten hat of his. And the Indian crowd are on their feet to roar home their heroes again. India have secured a second successive victory here by a large margin. No double figures this time, but far too much in the tank for Italy. India have beaten Italy here in New Delhi by 8-1. So the Indian machine continues to roll onwards here towards the hoped-for final in a week's time, when there will be so much at stake. That will be a very special occasion indeed. And if you can be here, be here. If you can't, make sure you're in front of a television or a computer screen, because it's sure to be an epic, whichever two sides compete. And if it's India, then this stadium could be packed as they try and roar their team all the way to London. So full-time score, India 8, Italy 1. So at one point it looked as if India might run riot again, but as we'll see from the highlights, Italy were brave in defence. That was goal number 7, cleverly touched in by Sunil. Italians were able to mount a few attacks of their own. Wouldn't quite happen for them. India took the foot off the gas, and they were helped with goal number 8 with a mistake from the Italian goalkeeper. Didn't make many, in fairness, considering the amount of pressure he was under. And India just couldn't match Canada's 9-goal tally against the same opponent. So the man of the match award given there to Sunil by the international hockey president Leandro Negre. And a good moment that for Sunil, who Sam and I both thought had a really fine game. And I certainly wouldn't argue with that decision. So there's the stats of the match. India just losing their 100% record at the penalty corners, right at the very depth there. But 4 from 5, a massive improvement for India. And they ended up with 63% of the possession. And, well, 34 penetrations added to the 55 or so they had last night. Just shows the amount of domination they've had. 18 shots produced. So there's a reflection of the results from today in the men's schedule. Canada 2, Poland 3 was the outstanding game of the day in many ways. France too good for Singapore, and Singapore shipping another 9, and India adding to their goals for tally with 8 against a gallant but outgunned Italy. So all those results mean that the table looks like this tonight as we head into tomorrow's rest day. India and France with 100% records. In the middle of the table, Canada and Poland with still got some hope there, but plenty to do. Italy and Singapore bringing up the rear, still to open their points tally. So no hockey tomorrow, but Tuesday's men's schedule looks like this. Singapore take on Canada. That's followed by Poland against Italy, and the outstanding game of the day, France against India. That could be an absolute cracker right to the top of the pool. The women's schedule, Poland against Italy, South Africa, Ukraine and India against Canada. Finished 4-1 in favour of India. Poland not too good this morning, going down 4-1 to Italy. That was a really surprise result, that one. Tuesday's women's schedule looks like this. Canada will take on the Ukraine, Italy against South Africa, then it's Poland against India. India's women today showed much more form. So there's the wonderful India Gate, which was modelled on the Arc de Triomphe and acts as India's war memorial. So many Indians lost in various wars over the years, and what a splendid way to remember those that have given the ultimate sacrifice. Well, that's about it for today from Simon and myself. We look forward to seeing you when hockey resumes on Tuesday. Goodbye for now.